Hi, welcome. My name is Kwabena. Welcome. I want to share with you today the importance of Pan-African education. The importance of Pan-African education. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Share with people you think will be interested in this channel. It's about entrepreneurship. It is about finance. It is about sales. It is about African dignity as well. So today I want to share with you the importance of Pan-African education. I went through primary school, junior, secondary school, JSS, we said JSS, and then senior secondary school. I went through to university. I went through to do postgraduate in the sciences, and there was not much taught on Pan-African education as a constructive subject, as an intentional subject to raise us as Africans. It was open. They will put some cultural, some history on Africa, some cultural input, which were very much important. But as a tool, as Pan-African education as a tool, we were not taught that intentionally. And so it was during this postgraduate education that I chanced on a preacher who was teaching something about this, about African history, which spans over the last 6,000 years or more. He talked about African input in science, in management, in politics, in innovation, in business. He talked a lot. And his teaching was not just on Ghanaians or Nigerians or South Africans or Asante people or Igbo or Kikuyu or Zulu. He grouped the African people, black people, and he gave a lot of input on our contribution to religion, to science, to innovation, to modern society. And then I started to read a lot of books about this. And I saw that without this Pan-African education, or that the other education that Africans have been given is purely westernized. And so a lot of people talk about how can we overcome tribalism. The answer is Pan-African education. When you see anybody who has been consciously educated as an African, it's so much comfortable to deal with them. I've had a lot of interactions with Africans, highly educated, doctors, engineers, lawyers. If their Pan-African awareness is that little, they don't connect. I've had Christians, Muslims, people who are Africans, you think like you can connect with them. But when you look at their statements and the unawareness they have on their race, and they make a lot of excuses and they blame Africa and Africans and our contribution and our stupidity and our negligence, and they blame our politicians and things like that. It's because they are weak on Pan-African education. And so if you're looking for a tool to deal with the racism against Africans, it's the Pan-African education. The Pan-African education is not only for Africans, it's not only for black people, it's also for the Chinese, for Indians, for the white as well. They need it even more than we need it, because they've been told that the Africans have never contributed anything to civilization, and that we are the weakest, we are the bottom. And in as much as it has inflated their ego and their pride, it is also worried them, because where would the world be if Africa were that developed as everybody else? If Africa was not taken advantage of, the world will be a very different place, because the talent, the awareness, the contribution, the ingenuity in Africa is enormous. So I'm talking to you about the importance of Pan-African education. And I'm saying that if you meet an African who is conscious, that is the determinant. I'm so comfortable to meet anybody, African, who is that much conscious, who is educated himself. This is not taught in school. You would have to read yourself. All the great Africans that you have seen who have fought for our independence have been Pan-African. From Kwame Nkrumah to Mugabe, to those in the Caribbean, to Du Bois, to Luther King, to Mandela. Every African who has been interested in the well-being of Africa, whether he's an entrepreneur, an innovator, politician, historian, academic, every one of them who has done so well for Africa has been a product of Pan-African education, because that is the panacea to the Western annihilation of Africans and our contribution. And that is what gives us the depth of knowledge. I'm not talking of African culture. The culture that we grew up with, the funerals, the wearing of the kente, the fufu that we eat, the amala, all those, our names, our marital ceremonies, our naming ceremonies, all those have kept us from totally being destroyed by the insurgents from the white people. Through their school, through the academic, through their school education, through their religion, through their media, through their government system that they have led here. But if there is anything that can fight